Yeah, I just wanted to make a video because I feel really confident with my trading again, and it makes sense to me again, which is nuts because it's been ages since I've had this feeling. It's been like 2 months since I've had this feeling where I really understand it, and even my trades are showing that I understand it. So I just thought I'd make a quick video about what it is that makes good trades, and what to look for with this strategy. Yeah, so it's an IFVG. Think about it as AMD meets IFVG, or AMD and IFVG, right? Because the IFVG, and think about the IFVG as the manipulation. So this is the manipulation. When you think about it like that, it makes so much more sense, right? So here's your IFVG, and think about that as manipulation and distribution. So I'm going to put the M on this side, and I'm going to put the D on this side. Alright, so don't worry too much about the accumulation, because you could actually just change that A to an L and call it liquidity. Because really, we have to find liquidity, and we have to find areas in which liquidity counts. Basically, how is there enough liquidity for price? So you need your drawing liquidity. You need a higher time frame drawing liquidity. For example, this one that we've got here on this 4 hour. Then you need your intermediate term liquidity in order to get to that place, right? So for example, here we've got, let's actually use the trade we took today. So the trade we took today was this, I think. Was it? No, it was this. Yeah, it was that. So we had a higher time frame target up here, which it actually hasn't hit yet. And I think there was another target like 1325 or something like that. Let me have a look. Yeah, so it did hit this target here, which was 145. Right, so I think we was up here when we came on. Now, to get to that point, all you do is ask yourself, where is enough liquidity being able to be taken, and then go in the opposite direction. Don't worry about the opposite direction yet, but where's the amount of liquidity that's enough to be taken in order to go higher? So, like all of this, it takes that load, that load, that load, that load. This part is subjective. This is probably one of the hardest parts to find this, because it's subjective, and it's subjective to the size of the move and all of that kind of stuff. Like, because look, it's all come back, crashing back down and whatever. But yeah, just this bit's subjective, and this is probably one of the hardest bits. But then all you do is then you put the A and the D, the M and the D together after that. And so this bit actually helps the first bit. You look for what move looks like a manipulation, like what move has manipulated, faked people going this way first. That's what you ask first. So you're like, okay, price is clearly, the target is clearly higher. So for us to melt like that, that's an interesting move, right? And then just at these lows, relative, because the manipulation has to be relative to the liquidity. So we've took all of this, and then just here we've decided to make a sharp turn. At an area of liquidity, we've decided to pretend to carry on and come back up. This one I didn't take because there was no clear entry for me. Like, this IFVG is not strong enough, I feel like, for me to take. I did get in higher at this, 5 minute inversion, and then I think we got a break even. And then the next trade, was actually here. Yeah, it was in this 15-minute gap. So that was a break even trade, because after we'd inverted, I think I got in like here or something, and then we was waiting for this high to go, and it did at open. But as soon as it did, it came right back down and took us out. So as soon as it did, I think I moved my stop to like break even, which was around here, and then it came down and closed us out. So yeah, next one was this. So here, everyone's waiting. Like, people are getting impatient. Like, boom, there's no trades. There's nothing to take. Everybody, right? And you gotta think about that in terms of the liquidity that's being generated. People want to trade, and there's stop losses everywhere here. Then, if you notice on a higher time frame, we've got a 15-minute gap, which these get tapped into first and then gets tapped into again. Even just one tap is enough, but it's in line with the liquidity. And then look at this reaction at this liquidity area. Like, I think we took it on the 3-minute here. Oh, fuck's sake, man. Chart keeps changing because it had a singular fair value gap. So I took it on the 3-minute. I think my entry is a bit lower, and I always do the safe stuff under the manipulation, because I think I'd rather have a hard stop than a mental stop. Like, I'd rather just have that in place, and I know that if this is a true manipulation area, we should not come back to it, or we could come back to it, but we shouldn't really sweep it. Like, leave a couple of pips, but not a couple of pips, but maybe a pip. And then yeah, I think I got in on this candle. Oh yeah, I did. I got in on that candle. I went break even at this high or something, and then yeah, we took just a 1-to-1 on that. So we did catch the top. But yeah, that was it. It's just thinking about it in terms of accumulation, manipulation, distribution. Think of the AMD. Like, think of how the AMD correlates with where the liquidity is resting. For example, there's an area of liquidity that's our target. There's an area of liquidity that I felt was an M. And then, finally, of course, the final piece of this puzzle is the IFEG, because for price to make a gap and then invert that gap strongly like that, says, psych, it says, yo, you thought I was going that way, boom, I'm going this way. FVGs are supposed to hold. They're supposed to be price levels that show that there's big backing behind it. So if you see an FVG get made that way and then completely get destroyed like within a few minutes, that's not a good sign. Or it is a good sign for us to go, okay, that must have been a manipulation. So thinking of IFVGs with AMD in terms of it, same with this example. Let's see where it swept. So we had a 30-minute gap, a low, came in, swept all this. We was going higher, but we've come down, took them lows, that low, respected the gap, and then look at that, boom, down, boom, straight back up. On the 3-minute, perfect little entry there. I think even a 5-minute entry, yeah. And then you're targeting highs, you're targeting the next liquidity, boom, there, could be there, and that's it. The hardest part is that it is subjective, but just be patient and think about it in terms of how the market has to manipulate. Like, think about it like this: someone has to lose in order for me to enter. Someone has to lose in order for me to enter. For example, like there's these 1 minute little moves, and sometimes they go. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes they go. Let's see if I can find a little 1 minute move. I wouldn't give this a 1 minute move because it did take a lot of liquidity. Sometimes these 1 minute moves do go, I can't lie. But for me, what am I on about 1 minute move? Basically, like coming down to just capture a couple of 1 minute lows like this. I would never take a trade like this because for me, we haven't took enough stuff. Yeah, we just haven't took enough stuff for me to want to take a trade like that. So yeah, you gotta think about it in terms of the amount of liquidity that is getting taken in the context of the move that you are trying to enter on. And yeah, that's the hardest part. Obviously, the drawing liquidity is hard as well. Well, drawing liquidity is piss easy actually. It's just looking for highs and lows, seeing what's been disrespected. It's just looking at the same thing like you would look for a trade. For example, boom, 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 all these lows here, bang, back up. Okay, obviously that looks like a manipulation distribution. So all these highs should be targets. Boom, there, boom, there, boom, there, boom, boom, boom. All of them highs, and then just zoom in. What else is price telling us? Okay, there's some gaps down here. We'll come down to them. Now we're back into a 4 hour gap. Where are we going next? Like, pretty easy that one. But yeah, that's the model. So if you ever get lost, come back to this.